Hello everyone, welcome in the secret place. This is your Pastor Yadi. We're moving on in Psalm 10, and were days before that nothing was on our podcast, but we're moving along. We know our days. And so sometimes things are prior to what already our plans are for the day, right? So anyone can fill their own priorities in and say at the end of the day, I had another plan, right? So anyway, we're back. We have a way to go because there was 150 songs, but anyway, what is time? I think that doesn't matter, right? So Psalm 10, I'm going to read it for you. Why, Lord, do you stand far off? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? In his arrogance, the wicked man hunts down the weak, who are caught in the schemes he devises. He boasts about the cravings of his heart. He blesses the greedy and reviles the Lord. In his pride, the wicked man does not seek him. In all his thoughts, there is no room for God. His ways are always prosperous. Your laws are rejected by him. He snares at all his enemies. He says to himself, nothing will ever shake me. He swears, no one will ever do me harm. His mouth is full of lies and threats. Trouble and evil are under his tongue. He lies in wait near the villages. From ambush he murders the innocent. His eyes watch in secrets for his victims. Like a lion his covers lies in wait, and he in waits. He lies in wait to catch the helpless. He catches the helpless and drags them off in his net. His victims are crushed, they collapse, they fall under his strength. He says to himself, God will never notice. He covers his face and never sees. Arise, Lord, lift up your hands, O God. Do not forget the helpless. Why does the wicked man revile God? Why does he says to himself, he won't call me to account? But you, God, see the trouble of the afflicted. You consider their grief and take it in hand. The victims commit themselves to you. You are the helper of the fatherless. Break the arm of the wicked man. Call the evildoer to account for his wickedness, that would not otherwise be found out. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations will perish from his land. You, Lord, hear the desire of the afflicted. You encourage them, and you listen to their cry, defending the fatherless and the oppressed, so that mere earthly mortals will never again strike error. Our key verse is, O Lord, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will strengthen their heart. You will incline your ear. Psalm 10:17. The psalmist confronts the heedless rhetorical question, why do wicked prosper? Or prosper? We want to presume that God judges evil and unrighteousness. We think he should immediately bring down self-serving people with evil motives who take advantage of the afflicted and oppressed. We want to assume they will always suffer the consequences for their evil deeds. The arrogant who thump their noses at God and His commands will be judged and punished. But our skepticism grows when we do not see it happening. It is natural to begin to doubt the reality of God's concern and His ability to vindicate those who suffer injustices in the world. Worldly values and sinful attitudes are blatant in the sexuality and violence that dominate entertainment on television, on internet, and that prevails in our postmodern society. It's reasonable to question, why? Does God stand afar off? Why does He seem to hide Himself in times of trouble? However, God does not counter the physical laws of gravity when something jumps off a building to keep them from being killed. Neither does He intervene to counter the moral laws among those who choose the way of evil to keep them from impacting others. Those who spurn the Lord and do not acknowledge and respect His lordship and authority act as if He does not exist. In their greediness and pride, they have no inclination to seek the Lord. God's judgments are out of sight and may not be manifested immediately in a cause and effect response, but they are certain. Meanwhile, the wicked are unmoved in their arrogance. They have no reticence in victimizing others, whether through sexual promiscuity, financial fraud, or economic self-gain at the expenses of the less fortunate. Their mouths are filled with curses, deceit, and oppression. Their devious and mischievous acts that bring suffering to the unfortunate and innocent are deliberated without conscience or remorse. They are deluded in thinking that God does not see or care and will not require accountability for their evil deeds. But we should not be disillusioned by appearance and perceived in action by God. He is king over the nations and sovereign over all in the world, whether people acknowledge Him or not. He does hear the desire of the humble and strengthens the heart of the oppressed when they are mistreated. He will vindicate the victims of evildoers, and God's judgment may not be immediately evident, but we must keep the sad realities of the falling world we see around us in perspective of God's ultimate judgment. Pray with me. Lord, let me never lose faith in Your moral nature and the certainty of Your judgment of the unrighteous. Evil and carnality seem so prominent in our world, and injustice prevails. Those who have no respect for You seem to prosper. Help me not to be deceived by appearances, and strengthen my heart and desire to know You and to remain confident of Your eventual judgment of the wicked. Incline Your ear to hear my prayer, that I may walk in faithfulness. You, Lord, will strengthen our heart. You will incline Your ear. Blessings to all of you. Let this psalm, when you study this psalm and pray over it, soak deep in you. And you and I know that we very much live in an unjust world. And how to deal with all this and to see it from God's eyes, I think it's not always easy. But we must trust in the Lord and don't lean on our own understanding. We must be there for the ones who need us, for the ones who comes to us who treated unjustly. We must be there. We must reach out our hands for the ones who are being hurting by this so bad and wrong world that is around us. May God keep you from all harm, and may He protect you as you walk your way in your journey with Christ. Bye.